Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm actually coming to you guys live from my village in Nyakach. And there is something which has really elicited a lot of reaction from Kenyans. And I really wanted to talk about it very briefly. And I want to begin this video by asking you guys a very simple question. Do you think the former president, Uhuru Kenyatta, is actually depending on one man, President William Samoei Arap Ruto? I'm asking that question because William Ruto, while addressing leaders from the Rift Valley, alleged that Uhuru Kenyatta is now depending on him. I want to get your opinion on that. Because if you ask me, personally, I strongly believe that Uhuru Kenyatta committed two grave political mistakes, maybe three. And Uhuru Kenyatta will regret the entire life, political life. The first mistake which Uhuru Kenyatta committed was taking his succession politics casually. If Uhuru Kenyatta took his succession politics seriously, I am sure today the person he wanted to become the president of the Republic of Kenya, whether Raila Odinga, whether Kalonzo Musyoka, whether William Samoei Arap Ruto, that person would be the president of the Republic of Kenya. As we speak today, William Ruto is the president of the Republic of Kenya. But you can't convince anybody that Uhuru Kenyatta supported his deputy. The fact of the matter is that because Uhuru Kenyatta never took his succession politics, William Ruto became the president of the Republic of Kenya, aided by Uhuru Kenyatta unknowingly, but that credit can now not be claimed by Uhuru. The second political mistake which Uhuru Kenyatta committed, and for those who follow this channel, I actually warned Uhuru Kenyatta against any attempt to take up the role of peace ambassador, which William Ruto was offering. The moment Uhuru Kenyatta took up that role and William Ruto announced it publicly, whether the appointment was made by the African Union, whether that appointment was made by Ruto, the fact of the matter is that Uhuru Kenyatta accepted a job offered by Ruto. And maybe that's why William Ruto is alleging that Uhuru Kenyatta is depending on him for political survival. The third mistake which Uhuru Kenyatta committed, and he will live with it, is underrating William Samoei Arap Ruto. You know, William Ruto took this election as a matter of life and death. He took it as a matter of life and death. And Uhuru Kenyatta took it casually. Uhuru Kenyatta didn't know what to do. Uhuru Kenyatta only needed to give Raila Odinga the deep state. That's the only thing Raila Odinga needed from Uhuru Kenyatta. But the deep state was divided. Just like I've always explained before, there were those in the deep state who believed that Uhuru Kenyatta ought not to have disagreed with his deputy, and therefore he ought to have supported his deputy for the presidency, because they had worked with Ruto, and they felt that working with Ruto was going to be more easier than working with Raila Odinga. Then there was another group which believed that they needed one of their own. So this group pushed for Mutahi Kagwe, Matiang'i ticket. Then there was the other group which believed very strongly that Uhuru Kenyatta needed a compromise candidate. This group was supporting very strongly Musalia Mudavadi. And that's why when it was clear that Uhuru was not going to support Mudavadi, Mudavadi had to bolt out because they had convinced Mudavadi that Uhuru was going to support him. Then the last group was the one which was supporting Raila Odinga. And this group was supporting Raila Odinga because Uhuru was supporting Raila Odinga. And Uhuru believed that Raila Odinga had the support, he only needed the system, and therefore there was nothing which was going to stop him. But Uhuru Kenyatta failed to understand that his system was split, and that's why the deep state failed him. So Uhuru Kenyatta will live in his entire political life with those mistakes. But What do you think was the meaning of Ruto's statement? Because in politics, nothing happens out of pure coincidence. Everything in politics is normally well planned, well scripted, and executed to achieve a political objective. What political objective do you think William Ruto wanted to achieve by telling the voters of Mount Kenya, of Rift Valley, that Uhuru Kenyatta actually failed him? What do you think he wanted to achieve? For me, I read 5 things or 4 things from Uhuru Kenyatta's statements. I mean, from William Ruto's statement. The first thing I read is that Ruto is still very bitter with Uhuru Kenyatta. I think Ruto is yet to forgive. Ruto is yet to forgive Uhuru for trying to frustrate his bid. The truth of the matter is that it's just because of William Ruto's determination and maybe the hand of God that he became the president of the Republic of Kenya. But Uhuru really frustrated Ruto. At some point, even William Ruto himself was not so sure of whether he was going to be a candidate. So Ruto is still very bitter, and that's why he's expressing the bitterness directly to the voters, the people who matter to him. If Ruto had made this statement in the mountain, probably it would have had a different meaning. Number 2, I also tend to think that Ruto is very strategic and very clear. He wants to try so hard to hold those who voted for him. And that's why he was telling them that, look here, Uhuru Kenyatta, I supported him, he frustrated me, but still I am the president of the Republic of Kenya. William Ruto understands one thing, that he really also frustrated Uhuru Kenyatta. In fact, if you were to debate between Ruto and Uhuru, who betrayed each other, that's a debate which can never end. Because for me, I strongly believe that Ruto really frustrated Uhuru as a president. You know, he was the deputy president, the principal assistant. He really undermined the president then. But there are also those who believe that it's Uhuru who frustrated and undermined William Samoei Arap Ruto. So I tend to think that Ruto is looking at a strategy where those who voted for him are going to stick with him. And that's why he's advising them that you need to stick by people who supported you, because tomorrow you will still depend on them. And number 3, I also think that William Ruto is also telling Uhuru indirectly that the job you took as peace ambassador for AU was actually a trap which I laid for you. You know, the truth of the matter is that at some point, Uhuru Kenyatta even refused to take up that role until certain things were made clear. His job descriptions were made clear. The source of funding for his job description, all those things, the reporting structures were made clear. And Uhuru is not reporting to Ruto at any given point. But Ruto is now using that, telling him, look here, the trap is now you cannot survive without me. The truth is Uhuru Kenyatta is a prince. And since Uhuru Kenyatta is a prince, he has everything. Uhuru has the money. He cannot depend on Ruto. Uhuru cannot depend on Ruto for survival. But Ruto is not telling him because you took up the job. And lastly, I think indirectly, Ruto is also telling Uhuru that you betrayed our people, the voters of Rift Valley. These are people who stood with you, voted for you. Then when it was their time, when it was the time now for you to turn the other cheek, you looked the other way. I don't know what you think. And by the way, I'm also monitoring the happenings at Nairobi County, and I saw something which caught my attention, and probably will do analysis. Rigathi Gachagua sending Jaguar, who is not even an elected leader, to send his, to sending Jaguar to some fire victims with his donation. Sakaja also went to the same event. So I'm not understanding. So it's something is really happening at the Nairobi County, and I think Sakaja must be very careful with Rigathi. I think Rigathi is on a mission That mission is yet to come very clear to me. Once it becomes very clear, then probably we will do an analysis. As you can see, it's around 8 in the morning here. The sun is already the sun is already as you can see, it's just too sunny here. And I'll be going to Katito, Papunditis to be precise, to visit a friend of mine who is a subscriber. He invited me. So if you are in those sides, we could join hands until tomorrow, guys. Bye bye.